Afternoon. This video documentation is in regards to the Depot E60 5 Series headlights, mainly in regards to the V3 angel eyes, any of the LED concerns encountering involving the angel eyes. So right here we're actually using our salvageable headlights, which we have already an issue with one of the angel eye rings. We've already configured the pins to actually bench test it right now to kind of showcase the concern. We'll go ahead and turn on the power supply right now. Alright, right off the bat, if you are encountering one ring issue or both ring issue, even via bench test that both rings don't turn on, it might be the case that the LED nodes might need replacement. There's actually two parts for these headlight system, which would be the LED inverter and also the LED angel eyes, the LED nodes itself. However, if in the case that you troubleshoot to find that the nodes need to be replaced, I am confirming with you that we can work with our vendor and the manufacturer to source replacement LED nodes. So we'll go ahead and kind of show this part in regards to the replacement LED node process for this, mainly for these headlights. So moving on, I'm going to go ahead and turn off the power supply. What we recommend once you've received the replacement LED node, if you are undertaking the labor process for replacing it, is go ahead and test them out before plugging them in and also installing your headlights, as it would be very inconvenient to kind of rework the process if in the case you find issues with the replacement. So I got my technician right here going ahead. For this headlights, you're going to actually be looking at a white connector. The thickness and how fat it is, it would look something like this. I have two wires coming out on the sides. Please be very careful. On the other low beam sides, there is a thinner white connector inside here. Please do not confuse that with the fatter white clip connector. So we'll see if we can kind of locate the white clip connector. However, there is a thinner white connector inside there, which will be most likely tucked on the low beam side. You can see just the whites of it right now, right there, what I'm pointing at. Do not confuse that connector with the fatter connector for the LED. So in a sense, the connections would look something like this, but more for a male side. So my technician is going to go ahead and unplug that right then and there. So this is actually the old angel eye side, and this is the connection for the LED driver, which the new replacement needs to go in. You'll see the female versus the male pin. The connectors will only go one way, so you cannot confuse it. So it should be safe that you go with the latch side. So connected just like that. You'll have the replacement go ahead, hang it over the headlights, so that you can have your headlights safely sitting on top of the engine compartment to go ahead and connect the main connector to run the parking lights function. So go ahead, power on. You'll see the first LED node and the second LED node both on without any issues. This is your cue to go ahead and move with the replacement process for the actual LED node itself. So please make sure to have this process done before you even touch the original LED nodes on the headlights, being the case that the replacements also have issues. There'll be a lot of undertaking to remove the headlights again, to pretty much pull those nodes out again. So from moving on, we'll show you a basic tip for the E60 headlights. Depot's actually created a 2 entry point on these headlights. Right now we've already removed one of the gaskets on here, but however on the other side you'll see the rubber gasket still remains. I'll have my technician go ahead and peel that back. You can see that you can peel it right off. And you have 2 entry points for the low beam and also the high beam, the LED nodes. So I'll do my best to zoom into it, but you can see that there's actually a resistor right there, and actually a Phillips head screw right there. There should be another Phillips head screw right next to on the left side of it, but right now we've removed one of the Phillips head screw. So again, going back on the replacement LED nodes, so this is actually what the resistor looks like, the backing of it, what you're looking at. So on each of its opposite side, you'll see there's actually a cutout for the Phillips screw to be positioned to secure it on the base of the, you'll see 2 Phillips screws positioned on either sides of the base of the resistor to mount the LED node onto the low beam projector itself and underneath the side of it. So again, in this instance, we have one Phillips screw removed, but go ahead and then take a Phillips screw and remove both screws so that you can free the LED resistor from the mounting position. So I'll have my coworker go ahead and do that right now. As a good recommendation or tip, in the case that you're placing the screw on a resistor piece that actually interacts with the chipset, never use magnetic tools, please. Again, never use magnetic tools. Go ahead and use a regular screwdriver to go ahead and harvest the Phillips screw from the base of the projector. So you Got my coworker unscrewing that one Phillips head that's securing the resistor. Once it's just free enough, he'll go ahead and take a needle nose plier and harvest it right out. So he's doing just that right now. Awesome. So he's freed that one screw out. So in a sense, since the other screw was already removed beforehand the video, you should be able to free up the mounting position, which you no longer see the resistor on it. Instead, if my coworker go ahead and kind of yank it out a little bit, you'll see like the head of the resistor start slowly coming out. Alright, you'll see it right there. Just the resistor portion right there. Right there. So at this point, you don't need to fully remove it, in the case that the resistor, both LED nodes, actually might be loomed in between the mounting arms. However, what we're asking for you to go ahead and, at this point, since you've already tested the LED bulb, is go ahead and install the new LED bulbs onto the headlights after you've tested it, so that you can mount against the bottom of the low beam projector and the reflector bulb for the high beam. And then pretty much this is the replacement process for it. So I'll go ahead and have my coworker show you in an instance how to secure just the one side and then move on to the other next side. We'll be kind of resuming this video shortly for part 2.
Alright, so to begin, we're actually going to go ahead and loom one of the resistors with the LED bulb into the headlight housing so it can get over to the other side, the low beam side, and then you'll have this other one just hanging around right here on the high beam side, since there is one for each side. Now in order to do this, we recommend taking either one and gently looming it into here. As you can see, there's going to be a small crevice in here, in this area, where you'll kind of just go ahead and tuck it safely in there until you could kind of just get it under the whole adjustment housing area. Go ahead and tuck that in for the moment, and once it's in there, you'll go ahead and actually connect, sorry about that, wrong connector, but you'll go ahead and connect actually the angel eyes to the connector. And this will be just to ensure that you have a lifeline, that you have the angel eyes attached at some point, so you don't lose the whole assembly inside there. Now once you've got it actually loomed through there, we'll go ahead and pretend we did this. Turn it around over here. Now it may take a little wiggling and maneuvering in there, but what you're going to want to go ahead and do is grab your needle nose pliers and go just under the low beam projector housing in this area. Go ahead and show you real quick. So just under the projector housing in this area will be where the resistor will be. Now you might need a flashlight to be able to see it, but you should find it in this area, and using your needle nose pliers you should be able to clamp onto it and bring it out just under the projector in this area right here. Now once it's right here, it'll be a lot easier to maneuver. Now moving forward, this part is a little difficult to show given the limited amount of space, but we'll go ahead and give you a real idea of how this thing is positioned in place. Now these things are going to be facing with the the fin side facing towards you. So essentially when you drop it in, it's going to have to go into the area that we previously showed down there. And you can see the two screw holes where it will be mounted to. So you're going to want to go ahead and drop it into position right there. Now in order to do so, we recommend using 2 screwdrivers and actually maneuvering through this hole right here. So one screwdriver is going to actually, you're going to want a long flat head screwdriver, probably about 10 inches or so or longer if you can find one. And it's going to want to go ahead and slot into these fins right here. That's going to give you the fine tuning control that you're going to need to position this. Now as for the general movement, it'll help to use a second screwdriver and to kind of push it in the general direction where you want it to go. Now as it gets more and more into the final position, you're going to use more and more of the flathead screwdriver to gently position it like so. Now eventually you will land it into the designated slot, and once there, go ahead and hold it down with this flathead screwdriver. Now On the other hand, you're going to want to go ahead and have another screwdriver ready. You could use this one if you have somebody hold this steady for you. But what you're going to want to go ahead and do is actually place one of the screws onto the tip of the screwdriver. Now, since we mentioned that you can't use a magnetic tool for this, you will need a method to really attach the screw there, so you could hold it in place until you're able to secure the resistor there. So what we recommend is actually using a piece of Scotch tape. Now this will provide just enough hold so that the screw will not fall when mounting, but just enough also so that it won't get stuck on there, and you'll be able to free the screwdriver from there. So essentially you have a setup that looks something like this. And using your flathead screwdriver to hold the resistor in place, you're going to go ahead and slide the other screwdriver down and gently maneuver until it's in place, and then you can screw into place. Now once that's done, you're going to go ahead and repeat the same process for the other side and get the screw in there as well.
Being the case, my technician does recommend these longer, thinner screwdrivers, being the case that you have enough clearance to fit both of these screwdrivers with the designated lot spacing in the hole from there. Again, this is just all tips and recommendation on how to get the V3 LEDs replaced. If you should have any specific or further questions, please feel free to contact your seller. We'd be more than happy to clarify. Thank you so much for your time.